everyone. My name is Sadie Sandifer. I'm a high school teacher in Enid Public Schools. I am bringing to you my curriculum for RET. My overarching curriculum goal is distillation, specifically with regards to oil refinement. It's going to take about 4 days to complete. Today's activity that we're going to do in-house is going to be a part of the engagement activity, so day one's activity. It's a very short, simple lab, but the bigger lab will be the distillation, and I just took a couple pictures of me conducting it because this lab will take upwards of an hour. All right, so here's my layout for each of the days. Day one, vocabulary introduction. I teach AP Environmental and Biology 2, so these are a lot of junior kids that are preparing to take the ACT, so I try to really hammer vocabulary. The specific START activity we are going to do in-house is the petroleum byproduct experiment. Day two will be the beginning of the crude to refinement lab. Day three is the actual distillation. And day four, we will review and evaluate all of the things we've covered. So, day one, on your desk, you should have a paper plate, a marker, a plastic cup with a little bit of water, and a straw. What you are going to go ahead and do is place the paper plate on the table with your coffee filter laid out in the paper plate. Try to make it nice and level and flat. Go ahead and grab your marker. The camera can't see this, but every single station has a different color marker. Grab your marker, and in the center of your coffee filter, draw a quarter-size circle and fill in that circle with your marker. While someone is doing this, everyone else at your table, please start brainstorming. What do you see? What do you think is going to happen? And what do you want to know? Right, does anybody want to make a guess of what's going to happen with the materials you have and no other guidance? The ink is going to spread. We're going to see different colors.
Ooh,
some chromatography. I love it.
probably it's going to like settle in the low part.
Okay. Okay, so there's going to be some settling, especially depending on how you draw. All right, let's see. Use your straw. So now go ahead, take your straw, and if it's not exactly 10 drops, that is perfectly fine. Put your finger on the top, create pressure, and drop 10 drops on the center. Make sure you hit the center of your dot, 10 drops. Go ahead and do that now. And then we are going to put the paper to the side so it can dry. But go ahead and watch what happens as you put those drops down. But yes, once you're done, you can put it to the side and we'll come back to it. So here is how some vocabulary that I'm going to incorporate, but I'll come back to when we talk about what we see. So again, review of what we did in day one. We did the mini lab. I would give some vocabulary, introduction, development, and then we would take a few notes in our lab notebooks. Day two, we will begin the long process of the crude to refined lab. Day two, you get to start looking at the collection of oil, the distillation process. We'll start to bring in vocabulary like molar mass and boiling point of hydrocarbons. Here is the actual distillation lab. All I have here is the setup. So we've got our hot plate with a boiling flask, a collecting beaker, just a simple beaker with water, and a thermometer at the top. The thermometer is there to watch the temperature rise, and you can have the students document the temperature rising over time. What will end up happening is as the hot plate warms, inside of the boiling flask is grape soda. So the grape soda will start to boil. It'll release fumes, and through the cooling process will collect as a liquid inside of the collecting beaker. What is being released is specifically the grape fumes, and that is going to be a result of a higher boiling point or lower boiling point, which is the separation of those liquids, and that's how we correlate it back to the oil distillation. Lastly, our review and evaluates. These are the specific questions that I would ask my kids to write or answer in their lab notebook. Throughout the year, I like to have a lab notebook that we can reflect on, and then a quiz as well. And then here are my resources for my curriculum development. All right, let's go ahead and look at our plates and see what we noticed. Can somebody tell me what colors did you see in each dot, but start with the color of your marker?
So my marker was brown, and first closest to the dot you see a bunch of red and then some orange, and now it's kind of spreading into yellow.
Yellow. All right. Anyone else?
My marker was purple, and it kind of spread to a pinkish color, and then a deep blue, and then a little bit more of an aqua, and on the very edge is very light.
Perfect. Can someone? Yes. Oh. Awesome.
My marker was indigo. It started out kind of magenta in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Faded out to blue, and then we've got a really pretty hue.
Beautiful. So can someone try to tell me how this correlates to a distillation process? Why are the colors separating?
It's the size of the particles, the smaller ones travel further.
Exactly. So again, I would use this activity to get the gears going to my students so they can understand that there's different forms of distillation. It's not just raising a temperature. We can cipher, we can separate with water, we can use different forms to separate molecules, and that is all I have for my curriculum. Are there any questions?
What about the vocab?
Oh, so here's my list of vocabulary, and normally what I try to do is I keep the conversation going where I can say, instead of using the word separate, I can use the word refine. So I'm refining my marker to get different colors. Another example could be when I'm doing my lab and we're heating, what is causing those things to separate compared to the other? It's a result of the atomic mass as well as the boiling point for different molecules. So that is all.